vape sendiri dah membimbangkan. Bila pula mempunyai unsur dadah di dalam vape itu lagilah membimbangkan.
Beliau berkata sebelum kejadian pelajar itu dipercayai berasa panas badan dan berkhayal selepas menghisap
pelajar
vape.
tingkatan 4 ditemui dalam keadaan tidak sedarkan diri di perkangan sekolahnya di Kemaman Terengganu.
Dadah dalam vape sebenarnya bukan benda baru. Terdapat report ada dadah dimasukkan ke dalam cecair vape sejak tahun 2013, 2015 lagi dah ada.
Vaping is when you use an e-cigarette, vape pen or other electronic nicotine delivery system that heats a liquid of nicotine, flavoring, propylene glycol and other additives into an aerosol that you inhale through a mouthpiece. According to 2020 ITC Malaysia survey, 5.4% of Malaysian adults reported using vape daily. There are about 81.0% vape users use nicotine in their vape, 46.2% use pre-filled vapes, and 60.4% reported being addicted to it. The most common vape flavors are fruit, coffee, and mint. Besides that, according to the survey by the Institute for Public Health, the prevalence of teenagers aged 13 to 17 years currently using e-cigarettes from 9.8% in 2017 to 14.9% in 2022. This shows that the increasing amount within 5 years. Next, we are talking about why the people vaping. Vaping has become a social activity, particularly among teens and young adults. The most common reason that people give for trying an e-cigarette is that a friend around them or their family member used to get the e-cigarette in front of them. This aroused their curiosity and they wanted to try it. In other ways, many people begin vaping to fit in with friends or peers, seeing it as a cool or trendy activity. And this is the news that show why young people is vaping.
Ada antara mereka mengaku terjebak dengan gejala itu disebabkan pergaulan tidak sihat dan tanpa pengetahuan ibu bapa.
Dalam kawan-kawan adik, ada tak yang menghisap rokok?
Ada.
Ramai?
Ramai lah juga.
Kita ramai pun.
Lebih daripada 10 orang lah.
Adik hisap vape? Jujur je.
Hisap.
Hisap. Kenapa memilih untuk hisap vape? Sebab apa?
Sebab tengok kawan-kawan
terikut lah.
Terikut.
The other cause that people vaping is the variety of the vape's flavors. Vapes come in a variety of youth-friendly flavors, including fruit, candy, mint, and menthol. The availability of flavored vape products appeals to younger users who might not be attracted to traditional cigarettes. The marketing that uses appealing and vibrant packaging has contributed to the rise in vaping among teenagers and young adults. This is a video about vape ASMR posted by an influencer on a social platform, which has received 1 million views. This shows that the unique packaging of e-cigarettes has successfully attracted young people, and they are influenced to buy e-cigarettes because it is trending. Vaping, often marketed as a safer alternative to smoking, still carries significant risks. Prolonged use can lead to nicotine addiction, lung damage, and exposure to harmful chemicals like formaldehyde and acrolein. Studies link vaping to respiratory issues, cardiovascular problems, and a weakened immune response. For young users, it poses additional dangers, such as impacting brain development and increasing the likelihood of transitioning to traditional tobacco use. One of the studies presented at the American College of Cardiology's annual scientific session highlights the significant health risks associated with e-cigarette use, particularly concerning heart health. A large-scale study involving over 175,000 participants revealed that individuals who have used e-cigarettes are 19% more likely to develop heart failure compared to those who never used them. This increased risk is most notable for heart failure with preserved ejection fraction HFpF, a condition where the heart muscle becomes stiff and struggles to fill with blood effectively. Although marketed as a safer alternative to traditional smoking, vaping is increasingly linked to harmful cardiovascular effects. Youth are particularly at risk, with surveys showing e-cigarette use among 5 to 10% of teens and adults in the U.S. The U.S. Surgeon General has even labeled this behavior an epidemic due to its prevalence and the addictive nature of nicotine. Experts emphasize that e-cigarettes should not be used as a tool for quitting smoking, as many individuals continue vaping long after they stop smoking. Instead, counseling and medication remain the recommended strategies for smoking cessation. Another study from the National Institutes of Health (NIH) highlights the serious cardiovascular risks associated with the long-term use of e-cigarettes or vaping products. The findings reveal that e-cigarettes impair blood vessel function, increasing the likelihood of cardiovascular diseases. Research involving human participants showed that blood from chronic e-cigarette users significantly reduces nitric oxide production in blood vessel cells, increases cell permeability, and elevates hydrogen peroxide levels. These changes compromise vascular function and increase the risk of heart disease. In a parallel study using rats, researchers found that airway irritation rather than any specific component of e-cigarette vapor or tobacco smoke triggers signals through the vagus nerve, leading to blood vessel damage. This suggests that inhaling any irritant, regardless of its chemical composition, can harm cardiovascular health. Based on findings from the Journal of Neuropsychiatry and Clinical Neurosciences, vaping poses significant risks to brain health, primarily due to the toxic compounds in e-cigarettes, including neurotoxic metals such as aluminum, lead, and arsenic. These substances contribute to oxidative stress, inflammation, and cellular aging, potentially leading to long-term neurological damage. Nicotine, a key ingredient, is particularly harmful to adolescents as it disrupts brain development, impairing memory, attention, and learning while increasing the risk of addiction. Alarmingly, young e-cigarette users may consume higher concentrations of nicotine than those in traditional cigarettes, amplifying their dependency risks and susceptibility to future smoking habits. Did you know that e-cigarettes can seriously harm your lungs? In January 2018, the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine released a consensus study report that reviewed over 800 different studies. Studies show they produce toxic chemicals like acetaldehyde, formaldehyde, and acrolein. These substances are known to damage lung tissue and lead to severe diseases like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD) and even lung cancer. For instance, acrolein, which is actually used as a weed killer, can cause acute lung injuries and long-term respiratory issues. The main ingredients in e-cigarettes, propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin, are also toxic to lung cells. Research shows that the more complex the e-liquid, the greater its toxicity. On top of that, young people who use e-cigarettes are at a higher risk of experiencing persistent coughing, wheezing, and worsening asthma symptoms. And it's not just users who are affected. When someone exhales vapor, they release harmful chemicals like diacetyl, which has been linked to popcorn lung, along with heavy metals such as nickel, lead, and tin. Even if you don't vape, secondhand exposure to these emissions can harm your lungs. So, whether you're a user or simply around someone who vapes, the risks are real. If you or someone you know is using e-cigarettes, now is the time to consider quitting. In recent years, e-cigarettes have become popular among young people, but their potential harm has gradually emerged. Smoking electronic cigarettes has serious consequences. So, what is the solutions and what we should explore ways to reduce young people smoking electronic cigarettes? 13th of November 2024 in Kangar, Peerless. There was a case that about the form to student falls from roof after getting dizzy from vaping. A source said the student was using a mushroom flavor vape that is popular among students. Minister of Education Fadlina Scctk insisted that the KPM focus on tackling the issue of vaping among school students.
Kami akan turun untuk memberikan beberapa pendekatan dan program-program dengan bercakap sendiri dengan para pelajar, mengingatkan mereka tentang disiplin-disiplin yang perlu mereka perhatikan. Selain daripada bully, soal rokok, soal vape, ponteng sekolah, ini juga akan menjadi sebahagian daripada intervensi besar dalam gerakan kita menangani isu-isu sosial.
Given high rates and known health consequences of adolescent e-cigarette use, as well as adolescents' susceptibility to nicotine addiction, Education Ministry will implement the anti-smoking vape program in schools. This program aims to apply the value of student awareness. The school also can spread the programs to social media to let more people awareness. Programs that provide factual information about nicotine addiction and health risks. Furthermore, governments and organizations also can run public health campaigns to raise awareness of the potential harms of vaping, similar to anti-smoking campaigns to public, such as put the anti-vaping poster in the public transportation. Together, as a community, We can create a supportive environment where our children feel safe to seek help and guidance when faced with peer pressure or temptation. Based on WHO's assessment of available evidence, particularly the growing body of evidence on uptake by children, adolescents, and non-smokers, the statement recommends that: first, strengthen implementation of the ban. Where countries ban the sale of e-cigarettes, they should strengthen implementation of the ban and continue monitoring and surveillance to support public health interventions and ensure strong enforcement. In the United States, there are 7 states proposed partial or total bans. Some politicians called for a national ban on all e-cigarettes. Australia is set to ban recreational vaping as part of major crackdown amid what experts say is an epidemic.
Let's talk about vaping in Australia because the country is set to ban recreational vaping as part of a major crackdown on what experts have called an epidemic.
In the United Kingdom, their circular economy minister, Mary Krieg, said that banning disposable vapes will not only protect the environment, but importantly reduce the appeal of vapes to children and keep them out of the hands of vulnerable young people. In addition, many countries such as the United States, Canada have implemented bans or restrictions on flavored vaping products, as flavors are one of the primary factors attracting young users. The next solution is tighter retail regulations. Vaping, e-cigarettes to be regulated by some countries such as the United States, Canada, Malaysia. In Malaysia, the government proposes to enact a new law to control the use of vaping. Moreover, increase the tax and price of e-cigarettes to reduce the attractiveness of young people using e-cigarettes also is an important way. A gazette issued by the Minister of Health states liquid and nicotine patches to help stop smoking are now exempt from the Poisons Act 1952. In the United Kingdom, Chancellor Rachel Reeves has confirmed that a duty on vapes will be introduced in 2026, with a flat rate duty on all vaping liquid from October of that year. So, changing beliefs about the harms of e-cigarette use and cigarette smoking among youth requires a collaborative effort from schools, parents, local and global authorities. Together, these stakeholders can create a robust support system that not only informs but also empowers young people to make healthier choices and resist the lure of nicotine addiction.
Together, we can break free from the grip of vaping. Take the first step today or reach out for support. Your health, your future, your life matters.